We may have short-term a little pain, and people understand that, but long-term, the United States has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world.
In the news, there's been a lot of talk about tariffs being imposed by the US on China, and yesterday, Donald Trump slapped a 10% import tariff on any Chinese goods coming into the country. In this video, I'm going to break down what these changes mean, what it might mean for costs, and what you can do to prepare for if this happens. Now, I'm a hair system wearer myself. I wear Levivid hair systems, and if you wear Levivid hair systems or Lord hair or Bono hair or anything like that, you're going to find this video really useful if you're based in the US. Now, yesterday, 4th of February, Donald Trump did slap a 10% tariff on Chinese imports, and it's important to note as well that China has retaliated by announcing that it's slapping tariffs on US imports into China, and that will come into force on the 10th of February. The good thing is this gives both countries a little bit of time to maybe negotiate, to meet halfway and avoid a trade war. But in this video, we're going to be talking about if this 10% tariff is upheld and what it's going to mean for hair system wearers. Now, anyone who wears hair systems, especially ones who order them online, you will know that these hair systems do come from China, so these tariffs are likely to have some sort of impact. They might also not have an impact, and I will discuss this later in the video. Now, assuming that this tariff is upheld on China, it's really important for us to look at who's going to be paying that tariff, but also how is it going to be paid. And we're also going to look at shipping, because that is something else which is probably going to be affected by this. Now, the likelihood is that you'll still receive your hair system and it will be the same price as it's always been. However, a couple of weeks from you receiving the system, maybe even a couple of months, you're likely to get an invoice from the courier. Could be 10% the value of the product, could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more, and it will be an invoice that you, the consumer, need to pay. Now, how do I know this? Because I'm from the UK and we pulled out of the EU single market about 9 years ago, and we were immediately slapped with tariffs on things that we were actually buying from Europe. I remember in 2019, I had to order some medicines from Belgium and I had to pay a whopping 25% tariff on it, and I received it in the form of an invoice from the courier which I needed to pay. Now, why don't the hair system providers just up their prices? Well, it doesn't quite work that way. So with tariffs, the charge gets applied when it reaches American shores. That's when it's implemented. The courier covers the cost and then they invoice the consumer later. So that's how it's going to work. Now, this next point is really important and I want to make sure you're listening for this. Hair systems coming directly from China, the shipping will be slower as well, because now they're going to have to go through customs to ensure the right tariff is applied. So what I want you guys to do, my friends in America, I want you to reach out to whoever your hair system provider is and check to see if they've actually got a store warehouse in the US. If they do, shipping shouldn't be affected at all. If they come straight from China, it will slow things down. Now, what's my opinion on this? I really hope that China and the US can come to some sort of agreement where they can kind of find a middle ground, or just get rid of this completely and avoid a trade war. Why? Because tariffs harm one person, and that is the consumer buying the product. Now, for me, I am a free trade capitalist. I personally think there should be minimal government involvement or minimal government overreach when it comes to slapping down taxes that the consumer has to pay. It also, by its very nature, can be quite inflationary. And I know in the US, a big bugbear under Biden's administration was the amount of inflation, or the level inflation got to. And this could well increase that. So I really hope that some sort of compromise can be found. Now, my advice for my American friends, if I could offer any, is I know what it feels like to be in this situation, because us in the UK, we are still in it to an extent with quite a few countries as well. So I've been through it myself. I've had to pay these levies and it really cheeses me off, which is why I really hope that some sort of solution can be found within the next 5 days. If it's not, I'd recommend planning ahead. Now, what do I mean by planning ahead? If your provider just ships straightly from China, make sure that you give it an extra week or 2 weeks possibly to ensure that you're not short of a hair system. That's really important. And secondly as well, have you considered ordering in bulk? Now, ordering in bulk, you benefit from economies of scale where you order more and overall it works out cheaper per unit. So as a little example, if you ordered 3 hair systems separately over the course of 8 months, let's say, and you paid 30%, effectively 30% levy tax on those 3 items. If you ordered 3 at once, and Levivid offer this option, and my 15% discount, Adam15, works on the bulk options as well. You would receive 3 hair systems, a cheaper cost per unit, and you'd only have to pay the 10% levy tariff. But being prepared, being on top of this, I think is really, really crucial, and it can really ease the process of staying within your budget. But look guys, I get it's tough and I get it sucks because I've been there and I hate tariffs like this. It makes me really, really angry. Now to my US friends watching this video, let me know in the comments box below what your thoughts are, what your opinions are on these tariffs. Maybe we've got some Brits as well in the comments box just explaining the situation that we've been through after leaving the EU and having tariffs slapped on us from anything from food to medicines, all of that kind of stuff. It's super expensive here right now. Also, if you have any questions potentially about these tariffs, please put them in the comments box below. I'll endeavor to do my best to answer all of your questions and help in any way that I can. And I'll speak to you very soon. Bye for now.